Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, MDLR Fishing. Today I want to talk to y'all about the nighttime setup that we're using whenever we go out night fishing. And right behind me, the number one question that I always get is this right here. What generator are you using? This is a Honda EU2000i. I guess, like, to cut it short, I don't want to go over all the specs on it, but the things that y'all are going to want to know: how many outlets does it have? We've got 1, 2 110 style outlets, so we can plug in 2 different things. And the internal gas tank capacity is a little over, I want to say a little over 1 gallon of gas. And this thing is super quiet. It runs at around 53 decibels, 53 to around 59, but very quiet. And the internal tank right there, that's we use the non-ethanol fuel. There's no need for oil. It's not a 2-cycle style engine, so it just runs off of regular gasoline. You could put 87 octane, but we run the clean stuff just so that the internals are going to be taken care of a little bit better. So with the internal gas tank completely full before you start fishing at night, and a 1 gallon can of fuel right there, that's going to keep you running a little over 6 hours worth of time, and that's more than sufficient for us to get out there at night and then come back in whenever the sun is starting to come up. The next question is the light itself. This right here is a Par 64 canister. It's made of lightweight aluminum, and you have this little arm right here that allows us to attach it to the tripod right there, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But the canister is very lightweight aluminum, and the light bulb itself is a GE quartz line, 1000 watt, and this guy burns really hot. It runs super darn hot, so if you don't watch it and you accidentally touch the canister itself, you could get burnt. And let's show you this. The power cord right there is very, very thick. So I wanted to make sure that, I'm not an electrician, but I do know that if this power cord is pretty beefed up, we were gonna need an extension cord that was comparable to the load that this thing is gonna pull. So we didn't want to use something like this right here. I'll show you all the difference. Hopefully the camera will be able to pick it up. But you can see the difference in the thickness of those cords right there. I would not dare try to use this to power that from the generator. I'm really scared that that might burn. So we went with a 12 gauge power cord right there, 50 foot long, and it's a 15 amp. So that guy gets the job done. And the 50 feet is just so that we can put the generator, if we wanted to, around 30, 40 feet, somewhere away from where we're actually going to be set up to fish, so that it doesn't interfere, the noise doesn't interfere with the fishing experience that we're trying to put out on YouTube. So next we go over to the drop lights. We've got 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are the lights that we have inside those guys right there. They're LEDs, so they don't draw much power. I think it's like a 17 watt, yep. And its output is around the equivalent of 150 watts. So this guy is wet rated. There's a lot of mist that comes in off the water in the Gulf, and it starts to cover all your equipment. So we just wanted to make sure that this was gonna be able to handle it. And like I said, we got 4 of those lights. These right here are the clamp lights. I don't know how else to describe them, but we've got 4 of these fellas, and it helps us to articulate. You can bend it and move it in any direction that you want. The reason why we use these is to basically light up the area so that y'all can see what's going on whenever we're out there fishing. And 3 of them are dedicated to the rocks where we're going to be fishing at. And then 1, if the truck is nearby and we have all of our gear in the bed of it, say for instance Texas City, we have this one on the bed, and we will run that one with this tiny little cord right there. it's not gonna draw much of a load, so there's no need to worry. But if we're out there on the jetty and we're running all 4 of these lights plus the floodlight together, this is what we use. It's a 5-way splitter, and it connects to the end of the extension cord, and all of these guys get connected to this right here. And we've ran that several times. There's never been any issues where the cord gets hot or anything like that, or the lights are starting to flicker because it's too much of a load, and the generator is more than enough to be able to handle all of these. Those right there, since they're LEDs, they're an afterthought. Finally, the last piece to the setup is the tripod itself. It's one that DJs use for lighting. You have 4 pre-drilled positions for mounting your lights themselves. One gets the job done for us, and over here you have a knob to where it'll allow the base to fully like spread out, and you have 2 knobs right here that allows you to raise and lower the entire setup. Now in the low position, it's hard for the wind to blow it over, but when you need height to be able to light up a bigger area, you have no choice but to raise up the entire system. The one thing that's missing from my setup, which I look forward to getting here really soon, is gonna be canopy weights. They're gonna hang down here on the legs, 3 of them for about like 30 pounds worth of weight. When you raise this entire setup with that light on the top of it, if the winds are pretty high, I wanna say we experienced something like 14 to 16 knots out there on the water, and it blew over the entire light setup. We ended up bending this lightweight aluminum, and my old bulb just completely shattered. So that's why I look forward to getting those weights so that we don't have that experience again. So that's the setup that we're using to go out there and film the night videos. And what I'm gonna do is link all of these items or an equivalent down below in my video description, which will take you to Amazon so that you can take a look at them and possibly purchase some of the same gear that we're using. The one thing that you're not going to be able to find, because I can't find like a spare canister, you're going to have to go to the internet to try to find one of these fellas, and also those bulbs. I'm not too sure why they're not being sold on Amazon, but you can't find those there. But everything else, you will be able to find an equivalent or the actual item that I am using. Thanks so much. I hope this helps to answer quite a few of your questions. For those of you that were always curious and constantly asking about some of this gear. Until next time, tight lines, y'all.